Malik had been driving for almost an hour. The long stretch of road was quiet, lined with green fields on both sides. The sky was painted with warm shades of orange and pink as the sun slowly set. He loved drives like this because they gave him time to think and enjoy the peaceful scenery. The soft hum of his car engine and the gentle breeze through the slightly open window made him feel calm. As he turned a corner, Malik noticed something unusual. By the side of the road, a woman was standing next to her car. She seemed frustrated, pacing back and forth. Malik slowed his car and pulled over safely behind her. The woman looked up, relieved to see another person. Malik rolled down his window and called out, "Hi, do you need some help?" The woman smiled faintly and said, "Yes, please. I think I have a flat tire and I don't know what to do." Malik nodded and got out of his car. "Don't worry. I can help you. I fix tires all the time," he said kindly. The woman introduced herself. "I'm Clara, thank you so much for stopping. I was not sure what I would do." Malik smiled and replied, "It's no problem. Everyone needs help sometimes." He walked over to her car and opened the trunk to get his toolkit. Clara watched curiously as Malik took out a jack and a spare tire. "I've never changed a tire before," she admitted. Malik laughed lightly. "It's easier than it looks. I can show you while I do it." He placed the jack under the car and began loosening the lug nuts on the flat tire. Clara stepped closer to get a better look, her eyes following every movement. "Be careful," she said, half joking. Malik chuckled. "Don't worry, I've done this many times. The key is to loosen the nuts before lifting the car." He worked efficiently, and within a few minutes the flat tire was off. Malik carefully placed it to the side and picked up the spare tire. While Malik changed the tire, they started talking. Clara told him about her day. She had been driving to her cousin's house when she noticed the tire was losing air. Malik listened politely, nodding and asking questions when appropriate. His calm and friendly attitude made Clara feel comfortable. "You seem very confident with cars," Clara said, impressed. Malik shrugged. "I've always liked fixing things. Cars, bikes, even small machines. It's satisfying to solve a problem and see it work again." Clara smiled, realizing she had met someone kind and helpful in an unexpected situation. Finally, Malik put the spare tire in place and tightened all the lug nuts. He lowered the car carefully and removed the jack. "All done," he said, wiping his hands on a cloth. Clara looked at the tire and then at Malik. "Wow, thank you. I don't know what I would have done without you." Malik smiled warmly. "I'm happy to help. Just make sure you drive carefully now. Spares are only temporary, so get the old tire fixed soon." Clara nodded. "I will. You really saved me a lot of trouble." "I'm so glad you stopped." Malik shrugged modestly. "I'm glad I could help. It's nice to meet someone friendly along the road." He started packing his tools back into the trunk. The sun was lower now, and the road ahead was bathed in a golden glow. As Malik was about to walk back to his car, he noticed a black SUV slowly approaching from the distance. At first he thought it was just another car passing by, but as it drew closer, he saw that it was moving unusually slowly, almost like it was watching. Malik felt a small wave of unease, but he tried not to show it. "Everything okay?" Clara asked, noticing his glance toward the road. Malik nodded. "Yes, just a car driving past. It's probably nothing." Clara smiled nervously. "I hope so." Malik returned her smile and said, "Don't worry. Let's finish getting you safely on your way first." He helped Clara gather her belongings and made sure she had everything before she drove off. Clara waved goodbye and started her car, carefully merging back onto the road. Malik watched for a moment, then turned toward his own car, ready to continue his drive. But the black SUV remained in the distance, moving slowly, almost like it was following. Malik felt a twinge of concern. He shook his head and reminded himself to stay calm. He had helped someone, and that was the right thing to do. But he also knew that caution was important. Malik climbed into his car, started the engine, and prepared to drive on, alert and ready for whatever the road ahead might bring. Malik drove carefully, keeping his eyes on the road and his mirrors. The black SUV was still behind him. It moved slowly, keeping the same distance, almost as if it was tracking him. At first, Malik thought it might be coincidence, but the longer he drove, the more he realized it was following him intentionally. He stayed calm. Panic would not help, he thought. He decided to remain on well-lit roads and avoid quiet, empty streets. The sun had almost set completely, and the sky had turned deep blue with streaks of purple. Streetlights began to glow, casting long shadows across the asphalt. Malik felt a mix of tension and determination. He would handle this situation carefully. After a few minutes, Malik noticed a small 24-hour gas station ahead. The bright lights of the pumps and the convenience store looked inviting. He decided it would be safest to stop there. He turned his car slowly and pulled into the lot, parking under the brightest lights. The black SUV drove past slowly but did not stop. Malik exhaled quietly. At least here he could stay visible to others. Inside the gas station, Malik went to the counter and bought a bottle of water. The attendant, a middle-aged man with a friendly face, noticed Malik's alert movements. "Everything okay, sir?" he asked. Malik nodded, speaking quietly so others wouldn't overhear. "I think a car was following me. I just wanted to wait here for a few minutes until I feel safe." The attendant nodded knowingly. "You're in the bright area, lots of people drive by here." "That's smart." Malik took a few sips of water and walked slowly around the lot, keeping an eye on the entrance. The black SUV had disappeared from view. He felt slightly relieved but stayed cautious. Malik knew it was important to remain calm and think clearly. He pulled out his phone and called his friend Jamal, who lived nearby. "Hey, Jamal," Malik said, keeping his voice low. "I need your advice. A black SUV was following me. I'm at the 24-hour gas station. Stay on the line with me until I know it's safe." Jamal's voice sounded concerned. "Of course. Don't leave the station. Keep your doors locked and stay under the lights. I'll guide you until you are safe." Malik thanked him and followed the instructions. As Malik watched, cars came and went from the gas station. A few people entered the convenience store, going about their business. The presence of other people made Malik feel safer. He knew that staying in public and well-lit areas was the right decision. The SUV never returned, but Malik remained alert, moving occasionally to see if it had come back. While waiting, Malik thought about the events of the evening. It had started as a normal drive home, peaceful and quiet, and then he had stopped to help Clara. He remembered her relieved smile and the gratitude in her voice. That small act of kindness had been simple, yet it had reminded him why helping others was always worth it. Even now, facing uncertainty, he felt glad that he had stopped to help her. Time passed slowly, and Malik continued to check the lot and the road. He watched for the black SUV, but it did not appear. After about 15 minutes, Jamal reassured him. "I think it's safe now. You can drive, but stay alert and take the main road home." Malik nodded. He thanked Jamal for staying on the line and hung up. Before leaving, Malik refilled his water bottle and took one last look around the lot. The bright lights of the gas station gave him confidence. He knew that staying cautious and thinking ahead had helped him handle the situation safely. He got into his car, buckled his seatbelt, and started the engine. Malik slowly pulled out of the lot, watching the road ahead carefully. He kept a safe distance from any cars and made sure to stay in well-lit areas. His heart was still beating a little faster, but he felt in control. He reminded himself that bravery was not just about facing fear. It was about staying calm and making the right choices. As he drove on, Malik's thoughts returned briefly to Clara. He hoped she had reached her destination safely. Helping her had been the right thing to do, and he felt proud of that. The black SUV might have been a scare, but it would not stop him from being kind to others in the future. Malik continued his drive, alert and cautious. The night had grown darker, but the road ahead was clear. With each passing mile, he felt a little more relaxed, knowing that he had handled the situation with patience and care. He knew that being careful, aware and kind at the same time was the best way to navigate both the road and life itself. Malik continued driving carefully, keeping his eyes on the road and constantly checking his mirrors. The black SUV had returned. It was behind him again, following at a steady pace. At first, Malik tried to ignore it, thinking it might just be another driver taking the same route. But after several turns, he realized it was clearly following him intentionally. He felt a mix of concern and determination. Malik reminded himself to stay calm and focused. Panicking would not help. He decided to stay on the main roads, avoiding empty side streets and narrow lanes. The night was dark, but streetlights lined the route, giving him enough visibility. He also made sure to drive at a safe speed, keeping a good distance from other vehicles. As Malik drove, he noticed that the SUV kept its distance but mirrored his turns. Every time he changed lanes or slowed down, the SUV did the same. Malik knew he had to be careful. He thought about stopping at another busy, well-lit area. A large shopping center was not far ahead, and he decided to head there. It would be safer than stopping in an isolated area. While driving, Malik kept thinking about the evening so far. Earlier, he had been calm and content after helping Clara. Her relief and gratitude had felt warm and genuine. That simple act of helping someone had brightened his day. But now, with the SUV following him, he realized how quickly things could change. Still, he reminded himself that courage was about staying calm and making good decisions. Malik reached the shopping center. Its bright lights and busy parking lot made him feel safer. He parked near the front, close to the entrance, where there were other cars and a few pedestrians. The black SUV slowed as it approached the main road near the center, but did not enter the lot. Malik could see it clearly from where he was. It paused for a moment, then drove slowly past. Malik exhaled quietly. At least for now, it seemed to have moved on. He got out of his car and walked slowly toward the entrance of the shopping center, keeping his phone ready. Inside, the atmosphere was busy but safe. People were shopping, employees were restocking shelves, and the lights were bright. Malik felt relieved to be around others. He found a small bench and sat down for a moment, taking deep breaths to calm his mind. Malik called Jamal again to let him know his location. "I'm at the shopping center now," he said. "The SUV is gone for the moment, but I'm staying here until I feel safe." Jamal's voice was concerned but steady. "Good thinking. Stay inside and keep an eye outside. If anything changes, call me immediately." Malik nodded, even though Jamal could not see him. The call helped him feel less alone. While waiting, Malik observed people moving around. A young couple walked past with shopping bags. A mother guided her child toward a toy section, and a few friends laughed as they browsed the aisles. The normal activity reminded Malik that life continued, even when unexpected challenges appeared. It helped him feel grounded and more in control of the situation. After some time, Malik noticed no sign of the black SUV on the nearby road. He cautiously looked around the parking lot and saw that most areas were still well lit and populated. He decided to buy a bottle of water and a snack from the small convenience section inside the shopping center. The simple actions helped him stay calm and focused. Malik reflected on how quickly his day had changed. A peaceful drive home had turned into a tense situation in a matter of minutes, but he also felt proud. Despite the worry, he had remained calm, thought clearly, and stayed safe. Helping Clara earlier had been the right choice, and even now he was making careful decisions to protect himself. Eventually, Malik felt ready to leave. He waited until a few more cars entered the lot, giving him more cover and movement. He started his engine, keeping his seatbelt fastened and his eyes on the surrounding area. Slowly, he drove toward the exit, aware that caution was still important. Even as he left the shopping center, Malik reminded himself that staying alert, calm, and kind were the best tools for handling any situation. The night was still ahead of him, but he was ready to face it with patience and awareness, knowing that careful thinking could guide him safely home. Malik carefully drove away from the shopping center, keeping his eyes on the rear-view mirror. The black SUV was still behind him. It had not turned away, and the steady following made Malik feel a mix of caution and determination. He reminded himself to stay calm and think clearly. Panicking would not help. The night was dark now, and only the occasional streetlight illuminated the road ahead. Malik stayed in the middle lane where possible, keeping a safe distance from the car in front. He avoided narrow roads and small alleys, choosing well-traveled streets that had some traffic. He knew that staying visible was the best strategy. As he drove, Malik thought about the events of the evening. Earlier, he had been helping Clara with her flat tire. That small act of kindness had made him feel good. Now the situation was tense, but he knew he had to remain focused. Courage was not about rushing into danger. It was about thinking clearly and making safe choices. Malik noticed a gas station up ahead. The bright lights and activity looked inviting. He decided it would be wise to stop there for a short while and assess the situation. He turned into the lot and parked under the brightest lights near the entrance. Other cars were parked nearby, and a few people were walking toward the store. The presence of others gave Malik a sense of security. He stepped out of his car and walked slowly toward the station. His phone was in hand, ready in case he needed to call someone. The gas station attendant looked up as Malik approached. "Evening, sir. Everything okay?" the attendant asked. Malik nodded, keeping his voice low. "I think a car was following me. I just wanted to wait here until I feel safe. The attendant smiled reassuringly. You're in the right spot. Stay near the lights. People are around. Malik bought a bottle of water and a small snack, then found a bench near the entrance where he could see both the road and the parking lot. The black SUV was no longer in view, but Malik remained alert. He knew it could return at any moment. He called his friend Jamal to let him know where he was. Jamal, I'm at the gas station now, Malik said quietly. The SUV hasn't appeared yet, but I'm staying under the lights for safety. Jamal's voice was calm but concerned. Good thinking. Don't leave the area. Stay alert and keep your phone with you. If it shows up again, call me immediately. Malik nodded. The call gave him reassurance, helping him feel less alone. While waiting, Malik observed the people around him. A young man filled his car with gas, chatting with the attendant. A family walked past, their children laughing and holding hands. A few delivery drivers came and went, moving quickly from one vehicle to another. Seeing normal life continue made Malik feel grounded. Even though the situation was unusual, he realized that staying calm and aware could help him handle anything. Malik thought about Clara again. He hoped she had made it home safely. Helping her had been simple but meaningful. That small act of kindness reminded him why he always tried to help others, no matter how small the effort. Even now, his decisions were guided by caution and thoughtfulness. After a while, Malik noticed the black SUV appear in the distance, driving slowly past the road near the gas station. It did not stop, but the vehicle clearly remained in the area. Malik stayed seated on the bench, keeping his eyes on the SUV. He knew that staying visible and calm was important. He did not want to make sudden moves that could attract unnecessary attention. He waited patiently until the SUV moved out of sight. Then he called Jamal again. It looks like it's gone for now. I think I can continue my drive. Jamal's voice was relieved. Good, take the main road and stay alert. Don't stop unless there are other people around. Malik thanked him and hung up. Malik returned to his car, locked the doors, and started the engine. He reminded himself to stay focused, drive carefully, and follow the safest route home. Even though the night had been tense, he knew that patience, awareness, and calm thinking would help him reach home safely. With one last glance at the gas station lights, Malik slowly pulled onto the main road, alert and ready for whatever came next. Malik slowly merged back onto the main road, keeping his hands firmly on the steering wheel. The night air felt cooler through the open window, but he kept it mostly closed to maintain focus. He could see the road ahead clearly under the streetlights, yet the thought of the black SUV still following him made his senses sharper. He stayed in the center lane, maintaining a safe distance from other cars. For several minutes, Malik drove carefully, watching the rearview mirror. The SUV appeared again, not close, but it was following him steadily. Malik felt a twinge of tension, but he reminded himself to stay calm. Panicking would not help. Instead, he focused on safe driving and making careful decisions. He decided it would be best to head toward a busier area where he could find more people and lights. A small town with a few late-night shops and a coffee shop came into view. Malik knew that stopping in populated areas was safer than trying to outdrive someone on empty country roads. He took the next turn, keeping his speed moderate, and made his way toward the town center. While driving, Malik thought about the day. Earlier, he had helped Clara with her flat tire. Her relieved smile and kind words had stayed with him. That simple act of helping someone had given his day a bright moment. Now, the situation was tense, but he reminded himself that he had already handled challenges carefully. His calmness and clear thinking would guide him again. As he approached the town, the streets became brighter. A few cars passed him, and he noticed people walking along the sidewalks. The black SUV followed at a distance, keeping pace with him, but it had not entered the town yet. Malik decided to park briefly in front of a small convenience store under bright lights. He wanted to assess the situation, gather himself, and plan his next move. Inside the store, Malik bought a bottle of water and a small snack. The cashier smiled politely as he paid. Malik nodded in return, but kept his attention on the parking lot. The SUV had stopped outside the town area, waiting at the edge of the street. Malik observed it carefully. Its engine was running and the headlights were off. It seemed to be watching without making any sudden moves. Malik took a deep breath and called his friend Jamal again. Jamal, I'm in the town center now. The SUV is waiting outside, but it hasn't come closer. I'm in a safe, well-lit area. Jamal responded quickly. Good. Stay there until you feel confident to leave. Keep checking around and don't hesitate to call me if anything changes. Malik felt reassured. Having someone on the line gave him confidence to stay calm and make smart decisions. After several minutes, Malik felt ready to continue. He walked slowly back to his car, keeping his phone ready. He checked the SUV's position one last time. It had not moved closer. Malik unlocked his car, got inside, and locked the doors immediately. He reminded himself to stay focused and drive carefully, avoiding isolated streets. Malik drove through the town center slowly, keeping his speed steady and watching the SUV. It followed at a distance, still cautious, almost like it was waiting for him to make a mistake. Malik reminded himself that staying calm, aware, and patient was his best strategy. There was no need to rush or act impulsively. As he left the town, the road ahead was well lit, and a few other cars were on the road. Malik felt slightly more relaxed. The presence of other vehicles and some pedestrians gave him reassurance. Even though the SUV was still behind him, he knew he had planned carefully to stay safe. Malik reflected on the events so far. The day had started normally with a peaceful drive home. Then he had helped Clara, a kind and grateful stranger. That small act of kindness had reminded him of the importance of helping others. Now, even in a tense situation, he realized that staying calm and thoughtful was just as important as courage. He kept driving, maintaining awareness, following well-lit roads, and planning his next steps. He knew the night was not over, but he felt confident that careful thinking and patience would keep him safe. Malik reminded himself that sometimes the best way to face uncertainty was with calm determination and careful action. Malik continued driving along the main road, his hands firmly on the steering wheel. The night had grown darker, but the streetlights and occasional passing cars gave him enough visibility. The black SUV was still behind him, and this time it seemed to be following more closely. Malik's heart beat a little faster, but he forced himself to stay calm. Panicking would not help him. He reminded himself of the lessons from earlier in the evening. Helping Clara had been simple but meaningful. That act of kindness had been the right thing to do. Now he was facing an unusual situation, but staying focused, aware, and calm was the best way to handle it. Malik adjusted his mirrors and kept a close eye on the SUV without making sudden moves. He decided to head toward another busy area, one with shops, streetlights, and a few restaurants still open. The plan was to stay visible and avoid isolated areas where the SUV might try to get closer. Malik stayed in the middle lane, driving steadily and cautiously. He kept checking the rearview mirror to monitor the SUV's distance. As he drove, Malik thought about how quickly the evening had changed. One moment he had been enjoying a peaceful drive home. The next he had stopped to help someone and faced a potentially worrying situation. Still, he realized that his calmness and careful thinking had kept him safe so far. Courage, he reminded himself, was about more than bold actions. It was also about thinking clearly, staying alert, and making smart choices. Ahead, Malik saw a small coffee shop with lights on and a few cars parked outside. He decided to stop there briefly. The lights and people would give him a sense of security, and he could reassess the situation. He turned into the parking lot slowly, keeping an eye on the SUV as it followed him at a distance. The vehicle remained on the main road but had not entered the lot yet. Inside the coffee shop, Malik bought a warm drink and took a seat near the front window. From there, he could see the parking lot and the road beyond. The SUV had not moved closer, but Malik knew better than to let his guard down. He kept his phone ready, prepared to call Jamal or the authorities if necessary. While waiting, Malik noticed the people around him. A young couple sipped coffee and talked quietly. A man read a newspaper and a barista cleaned the counter while humming a soft tune. The normal activities gave Malik a sense of comfort. Life was continuing and he was doing what he could to stay safe. Malik called Jamal again. "I'm at a coffee shop now. The SUV is still on the road but hasn't come closer. I'm staying inside under the lights." Jamal's voice was steady. "Good, that's smart. Don't leave until it's safe. Keep checking outside and let me know if anything changes." Malik felt reassured. Having someone on the line helped him stay calm and focused. After a while, Malik saw the SUV move slowly past the coffee shop, continuing down the road. He stayed seated for a few more minutes, waiting to ensure it had truly left the area. The moment gave him a chance to reflect. The day had reminded him that even simple acts, like helping a stranger could have unexpected consequences, but facing challenges calmly and thoughtfully was just as important as helping others. Once Malik felt confident, he left the coffee shop and returned to his car. He checked the mirrors one last time and locked the doors. He drove slowly onto the main road, maintaining awareness of the surroundings. The SUV was no longer in sight, but Malik knew he had to remain vigilant. As he continued his journey, Malik realized how important it was to stay calm under pressure. The night had been tense, but careful thinking, patience, and awareness had guided him safely so far. He reminded himself that even in uncertain situations, small decisions could make a big difference. Malik drove on, focused and alert, following well-lit streets. He felt a sense of relief mixed with determination. The events of the evening had tested him, but he knew that by staying cautious and thoughtful, he could reach home safely. He also knew that courage and kindness often went hand in hand, guiding people through unexpected challenges. Malik had been driving for nearly an hour since leaving the coffee shop. The streets were quieter now, but still lit by occasional streetlights. The black SUV, which had been following him off and on, had returned. This time it seemed to be closer. Malik could see the shape clearly in his rearview mirror, and the steady approach made him alert. He reminded himself to stay calm. Fear would not help. He adjusted his grip on the steering wheel and focused on the road ahead. The safest way to handle the situation was to remain visible and avoid isolated areas. Malik thought about the past hour, the peaceful drive home, helping Clara with her flat tire, the tense moments following the SUV. Each event had taught him something about patience and careful thinking. Malik decided to head toward a well-lit commercial area that stayed open later at night. He wanted to be around people in traffic, making it less likely that the SUV could approach unnoticed. The streets became a little busier as he drove toward the area, with other vehicles passing by and a few pedestrians walking along the sidewalks. Despite the increasing presence of people, Malik remained cautious. He kept checking the rearview mirror, noting every movement of the SUV. It mirrored his turns and followed steadily, but Malik stayed focused on safety. He knew that sudden moves or rushing could create risks. Calmness, he realized, was the best defense. As he reached a brightly lit shopping plaza, Malik decided to stop briefly. He pulled into a parking lot near a row of open stores and parked under the strongest lights he could find. The black SUV slowed on the main road but did not enter the lot. Malik stayed inside his car, observing the surroundings, keeping his phone ready and thinking through his next steps. He called Jamal again. "Jamal, I'm in the plaza parking lot now." "The SUV is on the main road but hasn't come closer." "I'm staying in a well-lit area for now." Jamal's voice was steady. "Good, stay there and keep an eye on it. Wait a few minutes before leaving and make sure you have people around. Safety first." Malik felt reassured. Having someone he trusted on the line made the tense situation feel more manageable. While waiting, Malik noticed other people in the plaza. A young woman was walking her dog. A man pushed a shopping cart past a store, and the lights of the stores reflected on the pavement. Seeing normal life continue reminded Malik that the world was still safe when approached carefully. He sipped some water from his bottle, feeling a small measure of calm return. After several minutes, the SUV began to move again, slowly driving past the plaza. Malik observed closely, but it stayed on the main road and did not come closer. He stayed patient, realizing that rushing could make the situation worse. Malik reminded himself that the goal was to reach home safely, not to confront anyone. Once he felt confident, Malik started the engine and prepared to leave the lot. He checked the mirrors one last time, keeping an eye on the SUV, which was still following but maintaining a distance. He planned a careful route home, staying on well-lit streets and passing by areas with people. As he drove, Malik reflected on the evening. Helping Clara had been simple, yet it had brought unexpected challenges. Even now, facing a tense situation with the SUV, he felt proud of how he handled things calmly. He realized that courage was not just about bold actions. It was also about staying patient, making smart choices, and keeping awareness. The streets gradually became quieter again, but Malik remained alert. The SUV had not disappeared, but he felt confident that his careful planning and vigilance would keep him safe. He drove slowly, maintaining awareness of the surroundings, checking mirrors regularly and keeping to main roads. With each passing block, Malik's confidence grew. He knew that staying calm, thoughtful, and patient was the key to reaching home safely. The night had tested him, but he had relied on awareness and caution rather than fear. Malik reminded himself that being kind, careful, and brave could guide him through any situation. No matter how unexpected, Malik drove carefully, keeping his eyes on the road and checking the rearview mirror frequently. The black SUV that had followed him on and off all night was no longer visible. He could not be sure if it had left for good, but he remained alert. The streets were quieter now, with only a few cars passing and occasional streetlights illuminating his path. He stayed calm, focused, and aware, knowing that patience and caution had kept him safe so far. As he continued, Malik reflected on the events of the evening. What had started as a peaceful drive home had turned into something unexpected. Helping Clara with her flat tire had been simple, yet it had reminded him how small acts of kindness could impact others. Her relief and gratitude had stayed with him, and he felt a quiet sense of pride in knowing he had done the right thing. Even facing the tension of being followed, Malik realized that courage and calm thinking were just as important as kindness. Courage was not about rushing into danger or acting recklessly. It was about being aware, making smart choices, and staying patient in difficult situations. He had practiced these lessons all night, and they had guided him safely so far. Malik planned his route home carefully, sticking to well-lit main roads and avoiding any side streets or isolated areas. He noticed a few late-night shops and gas stations along the way. The lights gave him comfort, reminding him that there were people around and that he was not entirely alone. He stayed alert but also tried to keep a steady pace, avoiding sudden stops or distractions. As he drove, Malik remembered the small acts of kindness he had encountered and given that day. From helping Clara to the friendly smiles of people he had passed, he realized that the world was full of simple gestures that could make life better. Even in tense or challenging situations, maintaining awareness and patience allowed him to navigate safely. After some time, Malik saw familiar streets approaching. His neighborhood was ahead, quiet but illuminated by streetlights. He felt a sense of relief knowing he was close to home. He continued driving cautiously, checking the mirrors one last time. The black SUV was nowhere in sight. Malik reminded himself not to relax too quickly, but he allowed himself to feel the first sense of security he had felt all night. Finally, Malik turned onto his own street. The familiar houses and trees felt comforting. He drove slowly past his neighbors' homes, aware that his own driveway was just ahead. Reaching it, he parked his car, turned off the engine, and took a deep breath. He locked the doors and sat for a moment, allowing the tension of the evening to ease. Malik reflected on everything that had happened. He had helped someone in need, faced an unexpected challenge, and handled it with calm and thoughtful action. The night had tested him, but he had remained composed and safe. He realized that courage and kindness were closely connected. Helping others and staying aware were not separate actions. They worked together to guide people through life's unpredictable moments. He stepped out of the car, locked it, and walked to his front door. The quiet of his home felt peaceful. Malik knew that no matter what challenges came his way, his ability to stay calm, alert, and thoughtful would help him handle them. Even small acts of kindness could create ripple effects, shaping the world in positive ways. Once inside, Malik settled into his living room. The soft lights and quiet comfort of home made him feel safe and relaxed. He reflected on the evening one last time. Helping Clara had been simple, but the events that followed had reminded him of the importance of patience, awareness, and courage. He knew that being kind and careful at the same time was a strength, and it had guided him safely through a night that could have been much more difficult. Malik smiled, feeling a quiet pride. The night had tested him, but he had faced it wisely and calmly. He understood that life would continue to present challenges, but with awareness, patience, and kindness, he could navigate them safely. Sitting in the warmth of his home, Malik felt at peace, knowing that courage and goodness had led him home safely, and that small acts of help could make a difference in the world.